Good morning, everyone. Today we will complete the first unit, Introduction and Water Application Methods. So, in this lecture, I have cited some recommendations and conclusion of water application methods. Recommendations are water use efficiency should be promoted at both on-farm and off-farm levels. Off-farm, the sustained efficiency of irrigation systems depends on proper design, monitoring, and maintenance. Otherwise, rapid deterioration results in excessive seepage, hastening the soil degradation process. Donor agencies should assist and, if necessary, apply some pressure on implementing agencies, authorities in affected countries to ensure 1. Adequate and continuous funding and performance for monitoring and maintenance tasks. Number 2. They meet the performance standards set by the project plans. Careful water management from the water source to the farm is essential to the quantity, timing, controllability, and predictability of water delivered to users. Institutional weakness, however, are often cited as the cause of poor performance of many irrigation and drainage schemes. These weaknesses draw attention to the need for strengthening, including the reorganization of the institutional capacity of agencies designated to perform and oversee these tasks. Donor agencies can play a major role in the strengthening of these agencies. A wide variety of technologies are also available to control off-farm seepage, leakage, and percolation losses. Greater effort should be exerted in adopting these technologies in projects. However, the economic feasibility of some measures may be significantly constrained by the project size. For the majority of irrigated agriculture, artificial drainage will be required at some future time. As in the case of irrigation projects, donor agencies can play an important role in ensuring that implementing agencies carry out the required construction, monitoring, and maintenance of the drainage infrastructure, and funding for such activities is not diverted to other purposes. Pilot drainage projects in waterlogged and salinized areas may need to be established to verify design and effectiveness of materials, demonstrate the effect of drainage on productivity, and train personnel in operation and maintenance of drainage system. Some areas that the pilot project should tackle include the adaptation and testing of drainage technology developed in other areas using local materials and construction techniques where feasible. Number 2, the use of pilot areas to train personnel to operate and maintain drainage system concurrent with the installation of large-scale drainage systems. There are two main avenues by which on-farm water use efficiency can be promoted. Greater effort should be directed towards promoting farmer adoption of more efficient production and water management practices. Externalities associated with on-farm salinity control measures and the nature of the land structures in most developing countries may result in less than socially optimal levels of adoption. Wherever it is technically and economically feasible, for example in the production of high-value crops, more water use efficient technologies such as pipe, sprinkler, and drip systems should be promoted. Effectively promoting both strategies will require the provisions of some agricultural support services, such as agricultural extension to introduce and train farmers in the use of new technologies or practices. In areas where salinity problems exist, farm output has declined drastically and technical measures to correct for it are shown to be presently economically or technically infeasible. Alternative crop mixes should be introduced to the farmers. The cultivation of more salt-tolerant crops will alleviate or remedy the decline in farm incomes resulting from the reduced output of the traditional crops. Similarly, the provision of support services such as agricultural extension and the marketing support services will play a significant role in the endeavor. It should be noted, however, that the cultivation of salt-tolerant crops should not be undertaken as a substitute for good cultivation practices. Neither should it be used as a corrective mechanism for improper irrigation practices. A program to shift to the cultivation of salt-tolerant crops should only be promoted when the traditional crops can no longer be grown profitably. Prevention of salinity problems rather than correction after they occur are generally more cost-effective. Some of the conclusions are the problem of irrigation included salinity warrants greater attention than it is getting today. The technologies exist to ameliorate or eliminate the problem, and delays in taking action will only escalate the economic, social, and environmental damage and the cost of repairing such damage. Because of the nature of the agricultural sector and most irrigation schemes in developing countries, it is often the small farmer who can least afford it, who has to bear the burden of the costs associated with salinity. In light of the externalities associated with corrective measures, governments will have to play a major role in correcting or alleviating salinity problems. Donor agencies will also have an important role in enhancing the capacities of governments to do so. The battle against salinity will have to be launched in three fronts. Government have to commit to a policy of sound water management and to the fostering of an economic environment promoting efficient resource use. At the same time, agricultural strategies should promote the adoption of improved production methods, particularly efficient water use practices among farmers. And lastly, greater effort has to be directed at examining the environmental impact of projects that involve water resource use and development to ensure that only economically and environmentally sound projects are undertaken. As the World Commission on Environment and Development wisely describes it, development which destroys the natural resources on which it is based is not development. It is widely recognized that irrigation has been a powerful force in fostering development in many countries, but when it is pursued injudiciously, it can become the progenitor of agricultural devastation embodied in form of irrigation-induced salinity. Irrigation-induced salinity has begun to cause drastic reductions in agricultural productivity in many parts of the world, and the time has come for farmers, governments, and donors to take it seriously. That was all for today. Thank you.